Hey everybody, and welcome back for another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 197, August 26, 2020. I am Clyde, and today we are joined by Jimmy.
Hey Clyde, how's
Mike,
it going?
Howdy, everybody.
And an empty seat that used to be Matt.
I think he passed out.
Oh, there he is.
Where did
I'm
this
here.
guy
Oh,
Hey guys,
Hi.
how are we doing?
See, honestly, I was doing stuff over here when you disappeared. I thought you walked away. I looked back and you were gone. Like, hope he comes back in time.
I am surviving.
it's just not enough for you to do with the school startups and stuff, huh?
Well, every kid needs a Chromebook. Every kid needs to be assigned the Chromebook. The Chromebook needs to be updated and pre-logged in to make it easier for the kids. We need to make sure there's enough Chromebooks and order parts and hotspots. And we go ahead and make sure all the different sign-ins for all the different programs is working, and making sure I can pick up all the laptops and get those laptops imaged and ready with Adobe Creative Cloud. And all this needs to be done by next Tuesday. And I'm the only guy here doing it.
Are you already issuing them?
We're getting them ready to be issued.
Okay.
They start panning them out Tuesday and Wednesday. Apparently,
I know my daughter got her computer last week. She starts Monday. Yeah, she starts this next Monday. But she was given a MacBook.
What?
I was
Was it a brand
what?
new?
I don't know. They give out, because I guess for the last few years they've been working on iPads, but now that she's in high school, they're like, okay, give me back the iPad. Here's a MacBook.
This is a real thing. School districts long time ago went Mac because actually Macs were cost effective compared to a PC, and Macs generally lasted a long time when you bought one. And that's a really amazing thing because you can just, buy one and it lasts you 10 years. That was really nice. This is back when Mac, when the Power PC Macs were a thing, and like the G3s and the G4s, and eventually it's kind of started fading out the G5s. This was a good idea for a lot of school districts because you could purchase something and it would last so long. That's not how it is anymore. Why are people buying? I mean, these kids are going to beat up these laptops. They're made of aluminum. They're just going to dent.
In their defense, at least in that school district, the risk of the students like pawning it off is lower than some other areas, but other school districts around. But still, I don't know. Based on the teachers I know at that school, it's like, oh, yeah, their biases about everything are like too pegged to 12. They go beyond Spinal Tap's 11. They're like 12. So
some school districts like this. They have the money and they spend it, and they have this. They have the concept. There is a concept, unfortunately, in schools that is really annoying to me, where, hey, we've been budgeted this money. If we don't spend it, we won't get that budget again next year, kind of thing. It's horrible.
And I will say the property taxes in that town are probably one of the highest in the states because of
paying for their schools.
Because they keep jacking up. Well, the school needs this money. And then you let the people that don't own the property vote. They're like, I don't care. I'm not going to have to pay it. Sure. And yeah.
It's okay.
What if your kids are turning 30 this year?
I sure hope they're not still in public schools.
If my kids are turning 30, then that means I had them when I was 12, and that would be a completely different story.
No,
Clyde.
I mean, should you still have to pay taxes if your kids are out of school?
See, that's my point. But
Property
Yeah.
taxes
That is-
suck.
That is an interesting discussion we should have for another time. Maybe after the show, or maybe we could have ranted. But we could rant and rave about schools all we want at that section. I think that's what we could do.
Oh,
if we
so
want.
are you saying that we're past the pre-show now?
No.
No.
Oh well.
not until we get to the stories, and then I'll turn it off.
Oh, are we at the stories yet? I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Are we
can't
at the
tell.
stories?
I think we're officially there now.
Okay,
I
then
think we
there
got
we
officially. All right. Hey guys, we don't have that many stories this week because because we don't have that many stories this week, and so our first story this week is Fubo TV. Fubo TV is.
Okay.
Sorry, I've got a broadcast.
So
Go ahead.
basically, Fubo TV posted $100 million loss in quarter two, which on the surface sounds terrible.
Yeah,
But
I'm
the
going to
thing
say
is, they didn't lose any subscribers. And they are up. Their second quarter revenue is still up 53% year over year. So this, I included this story because they didn't lose any subscribers. No sports going into this on the platform that was built for people that only care about sports, but
Right.
they didn't lose their subscribers. They actually gained some, but they posted 100 million loss.
Yeah,
is this?
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that it seems like that's a pretty significant challenge, right? They're looking at $40 million in revenue and little over maybe 54 million, or no, sorry, about 45 million. So about $45 million in total revenue, and they lost $100 million. So they don't say that that's like extenuating one-time expenses or anything like that. So it looks like in order to just break even, they're going to have to roughly triple their subscriber base and have limited additional costs.
Yeah.
So the limited additional cost is probably fairly reasonable when calculated on the subscriber base. But getting triple the user base, yeah, there haven't been a lot of sports, but I think that's a pretty big challenge,
So-
because you've got to take it from other people, more or less.
I think, and this is just my assumption, I believe that part of this is the fact that since they're only like 2 years in, the first few years you're running a huge deficit.
Right.
It's all loss.
That
And
has to be it.
this 100 million loss is based off of the projections based on their growth up to this point, where they would have been. And then also a lot of the money they make is from ad revenue. And even though the subscribers may have not shrunk, those people may not actually be watching. And then a lot of that ad revenue may be gone, just due to either non-use or advertisers that would normally advertise on stuff that is currently not available. So I just thought it was interesting that a thing that was still up 56% from last year, didn't lose any subscribers, posted $100 million loss.
So this is the new way you do business, apparently. I mean, this is ever since Amazon was like always losing money for years and years and years and years and years, and finally turned a profit. So is Fubo like got a 10-year plan to be, profitable in like in 4 years from now when they finally get there, and then they'll? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think this. It's hard to see how this is comparable to Amazon, and the difference with Amazon is They intentionally posted losses year over year over year by investing tremendous amounts into R&D and growth. So it wasn't that their revenue wasn't very significant. They intentionally outspent their revenue utilizing income from investments in stock and debt and carefully leveraged debt in order to accelerate growth, which is what allowed them to go to be like one of the biggest companies in the world right now. And that's because of that accelerated R&D, and that was a very strategic choice. There's nothing that indicates that they're having significant R&D expenditures. They're not creating their own content or buying up other companies or anything like that. It looks like to me from this article, and obviously I haven't done a lot of research into Fubo TV, but Fubo TV, not Fubu. There is a difference between those two things.
Oh yeah,
there would be.
Fubo is
the other
sports and
existed.
Fubu is for us, by us.
Yeah,
and somebody's gonna yell at me for even insinuating that.
But anyways, I that's my point about like they'd almost have to, based on this, almost have to triple their subscriber base in order to justify to break even, and that's a lot of additional users. Now they don't have a lot of users; they only have about 350,000, so they can definitely get there by count of people out there that would want it. But again, they have to be able to draw those people from other subscription services or from cable, because most people already have a solution in place. There's not a fresh market. And the audience of we're going to bleed these people off of cable, that audience is getting smaller and smaller every year. The people that are still there are largely people that are not planning on leaving until they die. And
you will pull their cable from their cold, dead hands.
Exactly.
And the sad thing is that cable subscription may continue charging them after they're dead, as long as that direct deposit or debit card is still active.
I'm just checking out real quick the Fubo plans. They started for one of the family plan for $65 a month. So
it was expensive.
They're not the cheapest. Philo is the one that was the affordable one. Fubo has always been one of the more premium priced services, and due to the fact that they were the sports destination. And they also recently raised their prices along with YouTube TV.
That's right. They did like very shortly after. Like, oh, good, they did it first. We'll do it right after them. It won't feel so bad.
It is worth mentioning that their content choice, sports, is one of the most expensive content choice options out there. So it does make sense that they charge more, because they are paying a lot more for their content than say, why can't I think of the one that Sling, who their base package has a lot less sports and a lot of very inexpensive channels that they can get very, very cheaply, which is why they can charge only $25 a month, or maybe it's gone up to $35 a month for their base package on Sling. It is just cheaper content to provide. So
yeah, which is why like the Philo one was always I was more interested in, because it was like, hey, do you just want stuff and you don't care about sports? You don't want to pay that extra money for sports that you're not going to watch? Philo. And so
what's interesting to me too is that they opened up shop January 1st, 2015. So 4.5 years into it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, well, hopefully within 5 years, they'll be able to be turning a profit. Quite frankly, it's taking forever. Should we move on? We got a story here about the NVIDIA Shield. They've got a new updated release to the Experience 8.2. It's taking your older models and giving them the upscaling that the newer models were able to get, and it's also providing some other features on here. It's getting support for the new remote that you can purchase separately and use on your older TVs now. You can now scale your resolutions anywhere from 360p all the way up to 1440p. And there's been support for Google GeForce Now, so not Google Now. So that's being bundled into being integrated into it. Good support for 4K 60 FPS on that service, and other updates onto this model. This is this is I think I have the 2017 model of
Yeah,
this.
the second generation, right?
Yeah, I think so. I might
Yeah.
have to turn it on and see if the interface looks good for me. Try it out.
So, and
Cool.
one of the cool things is that with this update, the Shield no longer has to be already on to communicate with devices over CEC or IR. So now you can have the Shield off and then
Nice.
have it turned on by other devices or vice versa. And then it's cool to see they're still making major changes. And
I'm seriously considering buying the remote because the remote does look nice compared to the one that comes with the old Shield. So that's the triangle remote that is a pretty good size to it. Feels good in the hand, everybody says. So I don't know. I might be that might be a little update if it's not too expensive. I'll have to see if they charge $60 for it. I'm not going to buy it.
no.
Here you
I
go.
just really like their picture of the little like gecko-y lizard thing, and I want to slide the slider.
Yeah, you want to slide the slider? I can't slide it either.
I can't. The slider's not sliding.
No, it's not. It's a picture of one of those slider
Upscaler
demonstrations.
demos, yeah.
It is. It's lame. It's cool. It is a beautiful picture, though.
When I first saw that, I thought that was one of those markers that this is where you sever its head.
Oh, well, I think that's also true. Because obviously that lizard is completely dangerous. It will kill you.
See, when I was a kid,
obviously,
we would you got alligator lizards all over San Diego. They look like little tiny alligators. That's why they're called alligator lizards. But we would catch them by the tail. And anybody that knows anything about lizards is that lizards can detach their tail. Right? And then it starts jerking around. And we would do that so then we could chase the girls with the squiggly tail around the playground. There's all these lizards running around without tails because we're chasing the girls with them.
You were a horrible kid.
No, I was just a regular kid.
Chasing tail with tail.
Yeah. What's next?
We have an update here about the regional sports network called Altitude Sports. This is a sports network in the Denver, Colorado area. So the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets apparently play often on this. And they are now going to be streaming live onto AT&T's streaming service for AT&T TV Now. This is after apparently they've been doing some disputes with some of the other providers out there. They've went ahead and decided to put it onto the AT&T TV Now service for people out there who need it. So there you go. If you have been a Denver fan and you wanted to watch your sports, I guess you have to switch.
So now here's the thing. Here's the real kicker. Number one, you already have to be subscribed to AT&T TV, whatever.
AT&T TV Now Plus Max,
but
whatever.
You have to be on the Max package. The Max package is $80 a month.
What?
The normal package that most people would sign up for is the choice package at $65 a month. But in order to get this, you'll have to upgrade to the Max package. So you're gonna have to get AT&T TV Now Max for $50 or $80. So how bad do you want to watch your Denver Nuggets or your Colorado Avalanche.
Well, true sports fans, it's worth it. I know
And
people.
that's my question: is it?
Right. I
So
knew
if
people
there are
who.
if there are any fans out there of these two teams, let me know. Is it worth it? Because I know Tom Merritt, his household is a fan of the Dodgers, while he may not be. So he signed up for AT&T TV Now so that he could watch the Dodgers.
Right.
So, and I assume that, and for them, it was worth whatever package they had to get. But Nuggets and Avalanche?
I mean, there's probably a lot less people willing to sign up for this, all three of them. But for people that care, it's worth it to them, right? As long as there's not a contract and I can cancel once the season's over, I'm probably willing to pay $65 a month for Bronco Sports to watch them play football. Now that's college, not pro, but the same remains that I would be willing to pay that to watch my team for a few months and then cancel.
Oh, and the other thing to note, Altitude recently waived their exclusivity rights for the NHL and NBA games. So the games will be also available for in-market viewers on NBC, SN, NHL Network, and CNBC. So this isn't the only place you're going to be able to watch these games. So again, is $80 worth it?
Well, that's
for this package.
I mean, only if you're in network, right? Like, are any of those others actually streaming it, or are they only allowing it to broadcast?
That's what I was saying. Normally, the exclusivity rights only matter when you're in market,
right?
So, and those are the only people that would really worry about this, because if let's say the NHL Network is showing it, then it's showing everywhere. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I would venture to say the people that were super interested in getting this Altitude Network to watch those games, they're gonna be in market people. And with the Dodgers, AT&T TV Now is basically the only way that you can watch it. They've got that channel that AT&T picked up. It has the exclusivity rights, which you would assume would have been the case here, but no, they waived their exclusivity rights. So again, yeah, I don't know if this channel is even worth the.
Well, probably not really, but there are those not so people who will be happy to pay any price. I had a friend who was like, every weekend, hey, we're going to watch UFC. It's $100 pay-per-view tonight. Like, come on, every night. It's like, geez, man. So that's insane.
Oh, yeah. Which reminds me, we forgot to mention last week that Sling TV had a pay-per-view for WWE's SummerSlam.
They did?
Yeah, they did. That was on Sunday. If you wanted to watch SummerSlam, you could have got it pay-per-view through Sling. But that was last Sunday, so.
Did you watch it?
Oh, I don't care about wrestling.
Oh, okay, just kidding.
Why do I care about sweaty dudes rolling around groping each other?
Because it's fun.
That's not my thing.
Okay. Well, maybe your thing is Atari. Are you one of the Atari? Do you want an Atari?
I had an Atari.
Which one? There are so many.
Well, 2600, the only
You're
Atari that matters.
Gotcha. The 2600. So did you have the wood grain one or the black one?
Well, I think my parents got it as like a wedding gift in 78 or 77. And then, so it was in one of those suitcase carriers that you opened it up and it had the thing and all the games are in there. It basically sat in the closet my entire childhood, unless I would drag it out every once in a while. Because nobody in the house played it.
Do you still have it?
No.
Oh, that would have been really nice to still have. Anyways, the new Atari console, the Atari VCS, is their streaming console. Is it a streaming console? It's like a PC hybrid console that's
Yeah,
intended to make.
this is a weird duck.
Yeah. No, I mean this is more a full-on console. I mean, it has a pretty solid set of hardware, but it is focused on predominantly, lower end games. It's not running like
Well,
Halo or, your new modern
Good,
title.
but you got to remember. So, I mean, this story is about that the Plex will be available
Right.
on the VCS when it finally launches. It was supposed to be out like last year, I think. When it finally launches in November or December, they're promising by Christmas. But yeah, this is essentially a PC. It can dual boot. You can boot it up with any PC OS you want. Windows, Mac OS, Linux. I mean, not, I guess not Mac. Chrome.
It'll do Mac.
I was
Man, it might be
gonna
worth
say,
it.
Sorry, I meant Chrome. So Windows, Linux, or Chrome. While they do have a library of classic Atari games, they also have updated versions. But you also got to remember that Atari's been making games for years. There's lots of modern games out there made that are Atari, and they should be available. And then plus, yeah, if you switch it over to PC mode, you can play Halo. You can play whatever. I think they plan on this being they intend on this being a competitor for the PlayStation and Xbox, which just in name alone makes you go, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's priced like that. It's $400.
Yeah, it's
So
$400.
it's
And that's
priced
that's
it's-
like the early bird price.
Yeah. Now, I believe that they said that with you get all of the pre-existing games free, and there's a number of newer games that you also get to use with the hardware. So that's kind of cool. It's nice that you've got a decent amount of entertainment out of that price, but it's a question of whether they're going to be able to provide a compelling alternative to those high-end systems, because the price is similar. We don't have the prices on the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever that's going to be.
They're going to be like 600 minimum.
But yeah, they're probably going to be about 600. So this is a little less. But the specs don't match up, right? So it's definitely not going to be able to perform on par with those newer ones. We're probably looking at something that's going to perform more on par with current generation systems like the Xbox One and the PS4.
Well, I mean, when you look at the specs, it's got an AMD Ryzen 1606 APU, and with Radeon Vega graphics. That right there is the thing that sets them apart. While the specs are decent, it's an APU. It doesn't have the separate GPU, so you're sacrificing some of the CPU to do the GPU functions, and that's where it will suffer. But I mean, as a media PC in your living room,
yeah,
that's perfectly good. And
I'm sure they'll make hundreds of dollars.
But the question is, because if you guys remember in the early 2000s, anytime a computer came out, the question was, will it play Crysis?
Yeah.
Now, as of last week, the question is now, will it play Flight Simulator? Because Flight Simulator 2020 is the game that is, testing your
and
PC.
basically the answer is no. And that's
will it? Can you do it at Ultra? Absolutely not.
Can you
do it at
boot it up?
medium?
Probably at medium. No, I'd be very surprised if this
because
pull off medium settings on Flight Sim.
On my computer, I run it on medium and it works great. And this CPU
What's your
is
GPU,
technically
though?
better than the one that I have.
What's your GPU?
1050. So I have a really
Yeah.
old. So that's why I was saying, if you take this newer APU, is
Yeah.
probably right around or just barely below for graphics below what I'm running. And
As long as they're giving it enough RAM and stuff, then it probably is going to be comparable to what you're doing.
that's why I was saying you could probably you might be able to get by on medium. Is what I was getting at. I'm not saying it's going to be great, but I think you could probably do it. Now the question is, if you can play Flight Simulator on this, I'm doing it with the 1-button joystick, the classic joystick, which will be a problem because you don't have enough buttons to even take off.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's it sounds to me like the new flight sim is actually pretty well optimized from a graphics perspective. If you look at games like Rise of Tomb Raider, I think it is. That's one of the standard makers for high-end graphics right now. You can't run. You wouldn't be able to run that, I don't think, at medium settings on that GPU that you're
turn
running.
off the rain and then it'll be fun.
Yeah, you gotta start cranking back on very specific things in order to make it work. In fact, I'm running the generation and the step up from what you have in my PC right now, and I couldn't pull off medium settings in Wildlands, which is a 2017 title, an FPS title, which is similar to Crisis. So I will, however, as of next week, be able to pull off max settings because I've got a whole PC sitting in a box downstairs just waiting for the case.
So I have a copy of Crisis sitting on the bookshelf in my living room. We should find out. We should raise the money to buy one of these VCS, and then we'll see, can it play Crisis?
You probably can. The original Crisis?
Yes.
Nowadays, almost anything can.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. The original Crisis was notoriously poorly optimized. It really wasn't as much a question of whether or not Crisis was well, granted, this is technology of the time. Whether or not your GPU could run it, it was a matter of whether or not the software was optimized enough that any GPU could ever run it at max settings.
I got the game from my buddy and played it in 2013, and I never had a problem on my Windows. This would have been a Windows 8 computer at the time. And yeah, I never had a problem. It played great. It just broke when I managed to swim all the way out to the ship that was on the horizon, because you're not supposed to be able to get out that far, and it keeps trying to not let you get there. And I made it all the way there, and it broke the game. But other than that, yeah. But back to the original topic, it's gonna have Plex.
That's the reason the story is here. They are setting it up so it'll be able to get Plex. It looks like they're setting up some deals. No, it's just Plex has the deals with Warner Brothers.
Yeah. It was just
Lionsgate.
explaining for those that don't know what Plex is
Gotcha.
or why they should want Plex. You can get a Plex Pass for $4.99 or $4.99 USD monthly, or $39.99 USD yearly. Or if you pay $119.99, you'll get it for the lifetime of Plex.
Yeah. I gotta say, I think this is actually a really great idea. I actually bought my Xbox One and I chose that over the PS4 almost exclusively for the benefit of their media center functionality that they touted when it first came out.
Did that ever come out?
Oh, it all came out.
Oh,
it just sucked. It was awful. And I spent, $400, $500 or whatever on this system, thinking that it was going to be my new entertainment center. And I used it for a media center functionality like 2 or 3 times ever before I was like, okay, I just can't. I'm just giving up on this because it's way more work than walking over and switching a cable even. Like, you know, it was too much work, and it didn't work very well. There was just lots of issues. So this is a really good move on their part to make the system a viable media center system by partnering with a company that already does it really well
Yeah.
and has a good customer base. So if I'm using Plex with a old aged PC, and I'm thinking maybe I'd like to have something a little bit fancier and more capable, be able to run 4K and stuff like that, then this is a viable upgrade, and this is something that I think I might be interested in, especially if I want to be able to play some of these fun games. I mean, I do look at the idea of getting this just for all of those games that I loved as a kid, as long as they're remastering them in a fun way.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, they did specify on the VCS webpage or actual VCS page that it supports emulators.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
which
that's
is
actually
why they had to give you all the Atari games for free, because everybody already has all the Atari games for their emulators.
Right.
It's like you download any emulator, they're like, hey, we threw in all the Atari stuff free. I don't want it tough. It's included.
Oh well, and you get Plex too. Might as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Speaking of Plex, there's been an update to Plex. Plex version 8.5 on Android TV is getting a couple little updates, which is pretty nice. But the one thing that it seems to be a really nice thing is that because it's integrated directly into the Android TV, you will have your Google authentication built into it, basically skipping the necessary step for you to enter some type of a 4-digit PIN code.
Mhm.
So you will simply be able to open the device, open Plex, it'll recognize that you're logged in, and voila, you are in with Plex with your account.
Yep.
This
so
is cool.
This is what we were talking about a couple weeks ago when Google was announcing their new updated login process for apps on Android TV. It looks like Plex is one of the first to take advantage of it. This
Gotcha.
is something that I experienced when I set up the TiVo stream when I logged into YouTube, because I'm logged into the Android TV with my Google account. My Google account has multiple other accounts associated with it, brand accounts and whatnot. So like my Clyde Harvey has a Poodle Puncher, has a VOD Squad, has the different channels. And so when I logged into YouTube, it said, hey, I know who you are. What account are you planning on? What do you want to use? And then you can see in the picture here, like you can see right there where it says choose an account. And then, you choose the account you want, and then it prompts you. And if you have 2-factor, you may get prompted saying, hey, did you actually try to do this? And you just say yes. And pretty simple. So
Very cool.
good.
Very cool, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what else is really simple?
I'm
It's really simple. I mean, seriously.
Somebody help me.
Subscribing
Cable
to
TV.
this show and supporting us via Patreon.
That's
I-
true. It's kind of simple.
It's so
I was
simple
going the other way.
that you can just set it up and forget that it even happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
don't worry about it.
And
Just
you-
make sure.
And in comparison to my thought of cable TV being simple, you don't even have to sort through hundreds of channels to find our content. We have one channel. All of our content is here. You don't have to. Yeah, definitely way simpler.
We do have choice. You can go to Twitch and you can watch the last 2 episodes, or you can go to YouTube and you get all 190 something. There's a couple that aren't there, but for different reasons. But yeah, if you want to go back to episode 2 and see, wait, who are these people? They're in completely different rooms except for Jimmy. Jimmy's the only one that hasn't changed in like 5 years. But no, yeah.
But at least my room is paid for.
Absolutely.
True.
I honestly, I'm jealous. I'm just, I'm counting down the next 4 years until I no longer have to pay child support and I don't have to be poor anymore. But to all the patrons, thank you for supporting us. We appreciate it. We don't really understand why, but we're not gonna question it. So if you'd like to be a supporter, you like what we're doing, or you want to just have say and make kicking us in the butt to leverage, I guess is the right word, to make the changes you want, become a patron. Patreon.com/the VOD Squad. Alrighty, guys. I think that
Better
brings
than a bad
us
investment.
to rants and raves. Okay, rants, raves, anything in between. What you got?
I spent last week. We've been getting ready for school to get started, but we've had family. I've had one family member come over who's helping us with some home situations here, and so we decided as a family to flip through and watch some family-friendly videos on. I think it was on Netflix, and we came across a movie. It's called The Sleepover. It's it's a kids movie. It's a
Is it
it's
a
a
kid's
very
version of The Hangover?
actually not really. No, it's more of a Spy Kids kind of feel to
Okay.
it. So it's a very Spy Kids feeling. Not bad. Some of the performances by those kids was actually really good. The young boy who really commits to the part, and I appreciate it because it's funny. He's probably the funniest part of that whole show. Yeah, not bad. It's if you got nothing better to watch, it's a decent thing for you to watch. 3 stars out of a 4 or 5 star system. Your choice.
Cool.
All right.
That's about it. Other than that, I've been working my eyeballs off.
Ooh. Jimmy.
Yeah, so over the weekend, me and my wife, wanted to watch a movie, so we decided to rent this movie. It's called The Silencing. It stars I forget the actor's name, but he was in Game of Thrones. He was Jaime Lannister in
that
Game
guy.
of Thrones, right? Yeah.
The British Dennis Leary.
Yes. Although in this movie he speaks with an American accent.
So a not Boston Dennis Leary.
Yeah, right. So anyway, it was a okay movie. I wouldn't say it was a great movie, but it was, it was all right. It was worth watching, but I would say it's only out there available for rent right now. I'd say, wait till it comes to Netflix or Amazon.
So
Prime
did you
or
pay the
something
like
that-
out of theater rental price, like the 30, 40, whatever they're charging for that movie?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that much. I think it was like $5 or something.
Oh,
like that,
yeah, all right.
But so I would say, I mean, yeah, if you want to drop $5 to watch it, it's okay. But honestly, you could probably wait until it comes out on Amazon Prime or Hulu or something of that sort, right? But it wasn't bad. It was a pretty good movie. It was meant to keep you on the edge of your seat, and it did that a little bit, and all, but just not. Honestly, with him in it, with the guy from Game of Thrones in it, I thought the acting would be a little bit better than what it was.
Yeah.
And acting was just, maybe kind of so-so at best.
So his name is Nicolaj Coster Waldo. How did you
That's
not
him.
remember that?
Yeah,
Nicolaj.
And oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. He's not British. He was Danish. He's the Danish Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
I prefers my Danish cheese.
Yeah, I knew you had
Fruit, man, fruit.
not
Dude.
too common of a name, so I
Fruit
could
is
remember what
parfait.
it was. Oh, and I've got one extra thing here too. I just picked
Cinnamon's
this up.
okay too, though.
I just picked this up today. Let's see if you can see that.
Ah.
What?
They finally made a MX mouse for Mac.
Yeah. Well, they always do.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is just the latest version of it.
Cool, cool.
No, I also ended up with an NX mouse, but the reason why I got this mouse is this is one of their anywhere mice, which means it works on anything, on any surface. This is why I like this mouse.
Mine
because
works on any surface too.
Hey, it's one of those. I love those.
This is the only
Actually,
one I'll use.
I actually like the old Kensington large ones. Those were great.
Those are horrible.
They are not horrible. I always thought with those thumbstick ones, they should make it so you can move it like a mouse and as a thumb, so you could do both.
No,
burst
because
movements
I
as
would
well as some
constantly
finer
be
movements.
moving it because as I'm working, my hand always ends up right up against my keyboard. Somehow it travels across my desk, and I'm constantly like, moving it back over here because it's like right up against. Like, I can't use a regular mouse. I hate it.
All right.
But that's not my rant or my rave.
Oh, okay.
Mike, what you got?
So I already mentioned I have a box that arrived from Newegg today.
Ooh.
It has all but 2 pieces of my new computer that I'm going to build. I'm waiting for my M2 solid state drive.
Did you get an NVMe?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I'm very excited to finally be upgraded from all antique features and functionality. I only have like a SATA SSD.
Only.
And so hey, I used to upgrade every year. So I am feeling very pained right now because I haven't upgraded my PC I replaced the graphics card when the last one died like 4 years ago, and that's the only upgrade I've made in the last like 8 years. So this is a momentous occasion. I'm very excited to be finally upgrading my PC again and doing a full new build. I kind of had to because with the socket change and the RAM type change, and now I've got NVMe functionalities and stuff. So very excited about that. I should be building it this weekend. And I will now be able to play Star Wars Squadrons when it comes out in a couple of months, which I'm very excited about. And I am also hoping to be able to find a way to convince my wife to let me get a VR headset before then as well, so that I can play it in full VR with the flight stick.
What you need to do is when the new PC is put together, install the new flight sim, get her addicted to that, and then say, by the way, there's a new headset from HP, which will be at first the only one that's supported by flight sim. We better get it.
That's right.
And
so
then she'll be like, okay.
I'm pretty excited about it. The other thing, from a viewing perspective, I found a new show. I probably shouldn't mention it because it might get some hate mail, but I'll say it really quickly. I am really loving Louder with Crowder. It's a conservative, semi-libertarian type internet news commentary comedy. So he is a comedian. He admits it full up. He's not a news guy. He's a comedian. But it is a funny and interesting, well-informed conservative take on the news, and I enjoy the heck out of it.
Yeah.
So
it would be a lot like The Daily Show or that terrible HBO show,
Yes.
except he admits that this is not actually this. The
Yeah.
other people they play it off like they're political experts, but
Yeah, I mean, he's very well researched and informed, but he says, I'm a comedian. I am not a politician, and I am not a journalist. And it is funny and entertaining, and I very much enjoy it. And it's on YouTube, so if you are conservative, check it out. If you are not, just ignore the fact that I said that I like this guy and.
So to address Bad Weeb's question, conservative comedy, so the anti-Colbert Report, technically, he is a conservative speaking, saying funny things from a conservative standpoint, not a liberal pretending to be conservative to make fun of conservatives like Colbert.
Right.
Yes. Not offensive like Colbert.
Except it is offensive, but in an intentionally
in a different way.
It's offensive, just like listening to any comedian is offensive.
Like all comedy, there is an offense somewhere.
It's just comedy.
But it's comedy, and it is fun. It's good.
So,
all right.
Cool. Couple things. Lord and Miller, you guys might be familiar with them. They did a whole bunch of stuff like Into the Spider-Verse. They're very, very well-regarded animation guys. I think they've been involved with the Lego movies and yep. Well, they've got a new show on Netflix. It's called Hoops, and it is trash. Absolute trash. I've watched the entire first season, so I can say for a fact it is garbage, and it should not be watched. No. I saw Jake Johnson was in it. I was like, okay, I really like Jake Johnson, and also Ron. I can never think of his name, but I like him a lot. But
Ron Perlman.
No, Ron Funches. Ron Funches, who's I think one of the most underutilized comedians out there. He does so many. I've been loving him in Harley Quinn season 2, but his show is terrible. It was obviously slapped together and just trying it's bad. Although it had one of the funniest lines that I have heard in a long time. This old dude, really, really old senile guy, he said, the last Jehovah's Witness last Jehovah's Witness that showed up on my porch, I showed him my shotgun. Now he's witnessing Jehovah all the time. And that was really funny, but it's about a high school basketball coach with a terrible team and just a really crappy life.
So I just looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. It's getting 15% with the.
Like I said, it is absolutely terrible, and it makes me sad. It's because it could have been great, but they aimed towards the gutter and then just hit full steam. It feels a lot like they were trying to do the Bill Burr cartoon about his life in the 70s. Which is very brash and abrasive, which just like Bill Burr. But it's great. Hoops, just don't waste your time. I watched it, the whole thing, so that you guys don't have to.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and also I'm confused. Lucifer. Season 5, I think it is.
Okay.
Came to Netflix. And so I remember them saying this was the final season.
They changed their mind.
Apparently, because the final season ended with a cliffhanger. And I went, wait,
Nope. They give it another season apparently.
Yeah, apparently they're getting another season, which is cool. I enjoyed it, but definitely season 2 of Harley Quinn. It was absolutely awesome. So if you guys aren't watching Harley Quinn, you need to. It's
Harley Quinn season 1. Is it anywhere besides on HBO Max?
DC Universe.
Oh, well, yeah. Now that's
It's a
pretty
DC
much
Universe original, so yeah. I mean, DC Universe is only $5.
Okay.
So I mean, it's worth getting to watch that and Doom Patrol. But it's yeah. Otherwise, it's on HBO Max. If you get it, and Harley Quinn is definitely not suitable for children. It's barely suitable for adults. But it's great, especially with all the voice actors. And Dietrich Bader's still the voice of animated Batman ever since Batman the Animated Series in the 90s. He's still the voice of Batman. And I give them credit for sticking with it. And yes. So that's it. That's all I got to say. Alrighty. Well, I think we should probably shut this thing down. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight. If you're catching this for the first time after the fact, you should join us live. We do this every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, here on Twitch. You get to hang out in the chat. You get to yell at us. You get to submit titles, which we're going to vote on here in the post show. And yes, there is a post show, sort of, that you don't get to see unless you're here live. So
it's totally a post show. It's just, mostly us just cleaning up
some weeks is more show than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is always something after. So if you want to know what that is, if you're curious, join us live. Other than that, let's head to the post show. Thanks everybody. We will see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.